Well, I've been giving sales techs a hard time here lately, and well, let's face it, they deserve it. So do the companies they work for and the sleazeballs that trained them. But today I want to talk about what sales techs do right. That's obviously a business model that can be profitable. By the way, thank you, Julian Heating and Air, for the t-shirt at the symposium. I'm repping that today. And obviously, everything that I say is only my thoughts and my opinions, not the opinions of anyone else. So here we go. And there are certain things that I feel like that we as real HVAC practitioners can learn from that don't involve unethical, high pressure, deceptive sales tactics, but just involve being good business people and being good communicators. So speaking of communication, that's the first thing that I think that sales techs do right, is that they do communicate well. They listen, and we should learn from that. We should be taking a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, talk to the customers about what they've noticed with their house. Ask them questions. Have you seen anything? These people have lost their mind in this Lowe's parking lot. Anyway, we should learn from that. We should take 5 to 10 minutes and talk to the customer when we visit them. Ask them things that they've observed. Do you have any comfort problems? Any weird noises, smells? Even ask them about their air quality issues, if they've experienced any problems like that. High energy bills. All those things are good input that we need to be able to do our job. Now, we should also be communicating in a way that the customer can understand us. We don't want to dumb it down so much that we are oversimplifying what we do. We need to be able to speak in a way they can understand what we're proposing. But this is a technical business that we're in. They rely on us to be the experts. So if we oversimplify it, I feel like some, not all customers, will take that as we just don't know what we're doing. The second thing that I think sales techs do right is they offer financing. People's wages are not keeping up with inflation, and people unfortunately are going to have to start financing things that in the past maybe they just saved up for and paid cash for. It's just a sad reality of our economy. And so we need to be offering financing, and we need to be upfront with the financing. We need to let them know what the percentage rate is, and even go beyond that and make sure they understand how much after financing it that they will have paid for that job, just so they can make the right decision. I think where a lot of sales techs go wrong is that they offer these solutions, these recommendations, and they just say, well, just for $250 a month, you can have all this done. And they don't tell them, well, how many months and how much they will have paid after the financing period is over. And a lot of that is just deceptive practices to make something seem like it's cheaper than what it really is. So get aligned with a financing company and be transparent with what that financing actually costs, so you can help your customers make a good decision and that they're not going to have buyer's remorse later on. Another thing the sales techs do right is they ask for reviews. That's really, really important. Now, we all know that there are fake reviews out there, both good and bad, and I have a strong suspicion that many of the 5-star reviews that these sales tech companies get are fake reviews. They paid for them, and they do that to try to dilute the tsunami of 1-star reviews that people leave after they've had a bad experience, when they realize that they've paid way too much and not gotten enough out of it. We should be making getting 5-star reviews really, really easy. We should carry a QR code maybe on our clipboard. We should ask them to leave us a review. We don't have to tell them, leave me a 5-star review. You just say, leave me a review. And we should be making that automated in emails and texts after the job as well. Something else the sales techs do is they follow up. So let's say that they did not get a sale on a job. Customer wanted to wait on it. They said no. For whatever reason, they didn't get a sale. They still follow up after the fact. I think that's really important for us to do, because we want people to make a good decision that they're going to be comfortable with. There's not going to be buyer's remorse. We do not do high pressure sales like these companies do. And so a lot of times we're not going to sell that work there on site, and I am totally okay with us not doing that as long as we follow up and we eventually get that sale. Sales techs also do full system assessments. Well, sort of. They do a lot of photo documentation. They check the entire system out to the best of their very limited ability. Now, let's face it, they don't have the same technical training that we have. The kind of training that they usually get is just sales. So when they do a full system assessment, they probably don't know what to do with a lot of that information. But that's something that I think we should all adopt. Instead of jumping out of the truck and running over and trying to figure out why the compressor isn't running, we find a back capacitor, we put a capacitor on there, we get paid, we go on to the next job. We should be doing full system assessments, slowing down, talking to the customer, using Measure Quick, checking out all the components so that we can make a list of recommendations. And at the top of that list, it should say, here's what broke today. And it should be what broke today, that and only that. But then we should follow up with a list of recommendations. Why this broke today, what may break tomorrow, and we can even go as far as pricing a new system if we feel like it's appropriate. But simply jumping out of the truck, fixing what broke, and moving on is a very, very bad strategy for growth and sustainability in a business. Something else sales techs do, or at least the companies that they work for, is that they understand their true costs. They are usually ran by business people, and that's a two-edged sword. A business person has the training to understand how to run a business, how to project what their costs are going to be, how to forecast what the growth is going to look like, make capital investments. The flip side of that is sometimes a business person thinks about what is best for the business and only that, and they don't think about what's best for the customer. They don't make decisions based on what's technically sound, and it's simply based on that profitability and that bottom line. Well, I think we can meet somewhere in the middle. We need to understand what our costs are, not only what our direct costs are on a job, what our overhead is, and what our capital investments into the company, trucks, equipment, tools, hiring and growing the company. That is going to take some upfront expenses, and we need to understand that, because it doesn't do anybody any good if you make $10 million in revenue, but you also had $10 million in expenditures. So we need to understand our businesses better. So get aligned with a good accountant, a business coach. Make sure that you're setting aside money to pay that person, keep them on retainer, meet with them at least quarterly, if not more frequent, so that you can keep a good eye on your business. These days, running an HVAC business is very difficult. There's a lot of things stacked against us. We deserve to be financially successful. We deserve to make our goals, but we have to know how to run a business. And I'll just end with this. I don't think sales are bad in HVAC. We don't look down on sales. When we go to a restaurant, the waiter asks us, are you ready for dessert? Who wants a bottle of wine? That's them trying to sell the things that their business offers. And we don't look down upon that as consumers. I think as HVAC contractors, there's nothing wrong with us trying to sell our services, but it needs to be ethical. It needs to be based on actual data and science and what's actually wrong. It needs to be done after testing, and it needs to follow some industry standards and best practices. And I think where a lot of companies go wrong is that they prioritize sales, they prioritize the profit margin, and they don't give attention to any of the other things that make HVAC important. And what we do is important. We have a direct effect on people's health, obviously their human comfort, as well as their pocketbook. Their utility bills are affected. We have a responsibility to look out for our customers and not just ourselves. So that's my list of things that sales techs do right. What did I miss? What things would you add to that list? Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and all that stuff, and we'll see you next time.